Hello guys, Nenu me Balaji. Before starting today's topic, I should say sorry for you guys because I have taken a long gap for uploading this video. However, from this video onwards, I'll try to be regular in uploading the videos. So without any delay, let's go into today's topic. So today's topic is Rule 37. So before discussing Rule 37 of CGST Rules 2017, let's discuss few provisions of Section 16. What does Section 16 deal with? Section 16 of CGST Act deals with eligibility and conditions for taking input tax credit. As per Section 16 subsection 2, there are few conditions which the recipient have to comply with in order to claim input tax credit. Once the recipient of supply have fulfilled the conditions which are provided under Section 16 subsection 2, then he is eligible to take input tax credit. Once he have taken the input tax credit, he will be utilizing that input tax credit for making the output tax liability payment. Okay. However, as per second proviso to Section 16 subsection 2, there is one more futuristic condition. What does that proviso says is, the recipient of supply have to pay the consideration for such supply to the supplier within a period of 180 days from the date of invoice. If he is not able to make the payment within a period of 180 days, then the recipient have to reverse the input tax credit which he would have availed earlier, and not only he should reverse, but also he should reverse the input tax credit and he should pay the input tax credit along with interest. There are few exceptions to this proviso. So let's discuss what are the exceptions to this proviso as well as the rate of interest under Rule 37. Before going into Rule 37, let's have a look towards the second proviso of Section 16 subsection 2. The second proviso deals with, provided further that where a recipient fails to pay to the supplier of goods or services or both other than supplies on which tax is payable on reverse charge basis. I already told you, right? There is few exceptions to this proviso. This is one of the exceptions. So say the first exception is if the recipient himself have to pay taxes, that is RCM basis. On RCM basis, the recipient is liable to make the payment. So in this case, this provision will not be applicable. So this is one of the exceptions. There are two more exceptions which are provided under Rule 37. We will discuss at the time of discussing Rule 37. So the amount. So if the recipient is not able to make the payment towards the value of supply along with tax payable thereon within a period of 180 days from the date of invoice by the supplier, an amount equal to the input tax credit availed by the recipient shall be added to his output tax liability along with interest. So I told that the input tax credit have to be reversed. However, here it is written as it should be added to the output tax liability. I will give clarity why I told that it should be reversed, because in Rule 37 there is two amendments which have taken place in past 4 months. So in those amendments it is said that there is a chance of adding to output tax liability as well as we can also reverse. Practically most of the people, what they do is they will reverse the input tax credits. That's why I have told that we have to reverse the input tax credit. Okay, we'll discuss the amendments while discussing Rule 37. Along with interest. So interest, what is the rate of interest and from which date to till which date the interest have to be calculated also will be discussed under Rule 37 in such manner as may be prescribed. So in such manner as may be prescribed means as prescribed under Rule 37. So let's discuss Rule 37. So before discussing Rule 37, as I already told that there are two amendments with respect to Rule 37. One amendment have taken place in the month of September and one amendment have taken place in the month of December. So the second amendment have taken place with retrospective effect. We have to give much consideration that the second amendment have taken place with retrospective effect. Okay. So I will be discussing Rule 37, the older Rule 37 and the first amendment and the second amendment, so that you will get clarity what is the older rule and what are the amendments that have taken place in those two amendments and what is the reason for that amendment also. Okay. So Rule 37 sub rule 1, a registered person who has availed of input tax credit on any inward supply of goods or services or both but fails to pay to the supplier thereof the value of such supply along with the tax payable thereon within the time limit specified in second proviso to subsection 2 of section 16. What is the time limit provided under section 16 subsection 2 second proviso? It is nothing but 180 days. Okay, 180 days. Shall furnish the details of such supply, the amount of value not paid and the amount of input tax credit availed of proportionate to such amount not paid to the supplier in form GSTR2 for the month immediately following the period of 180 days from the date of issue of invoice. So if you clearly observe this rule, there are few things which are not exist in practical life, that is form GSTR2. So form GSTR2 is not at all exists in practical life. However, in rule it is said that the input tax credit, which is if the recipient of supply have not paid the consideration within a period of 180 days from the date of issue of invoice, then he had to add that input tax credit to the output tax liability and he have to disclose it in form GSTR2, which is not exists. So the first amendment is with respect to this form GSTR2. Okay, we'll discuss that amendment later. After reading rule 37 sub rule 1, we have to get few doubts. Say for example, I have made a purchase of worth rupees 1 lakh from ABC and he have charged rupees 18,000 on such 1 lakh supply. So the total consideration I have to make is 1,18,000. Within a period of 180 days, I have made payment of 1,10,000 and I did not make payment of 8,000 within a period of 180 days. So here my doubt is, I am not able to make the full payment. So to what extent of input tax credit I have to reverse, whether it is in proportionate or full amount. As per rule 37 sub rule 1, it is clearly said that it is proportionate. So in this example, the amount which I am not able to pay is 8,000 and total input tax credit is 18,000. 18,000 is available if I make the payment of 1,18,000. So as I am not able to make the payment of 8,000 to that proportionate, to that extent, my input tax credit have to be added in form GSTR2. So in this example, the formula will be 18,000, which is input tax credit, divided by total consideration, which is 1,18,000, into the payment which I am not able to pay, that is 8,000. The resultant amount will be added to the output tax liability in form GSTR2 as provided under rule 37 sub rule 1. Okay, so the first doubt is whether reversal should be in proportionate or full. It is in proportionate. Next, provided that the value of supplies made without consideration as specified in schedule 1 of the said act shall be deemed to have been paid for the purposes of the second proviso to subsection 2 of section 16. We already discussed there are few exceptions to the second proviso of section 16 subsection 2. First exception is RCM and the second exception is this one, that is the supplies which are covered under schedule 1 will not be covered under this purview, under the purview of second proviso to section 16 subsection 2, because what does proviso tells, second proviso of section 16 subsection 2 tells is, if you are not able to make the payment within a period of 180 days, then the input tax credit which is availed on such supply, we have to reverse it. The supplies which are covered under schedule 1 itself are without consideration. So the supplies are itself without consideration. How come the concept of making the payment within 180 days will come? So these are that is the reason these are covered under exceptions. And the next one is provided further that the value of supplies on account of any amount added in accordance with provisions of clause B of subsection 2 of section 15 shall be deemed to have been paid for the purposes of second proviso to subsection 2 of section 16. This is the third exception which is provided for second proviso of section 16 subsection 2. What this proviso deals with is, let's take an example. Say for example, I want to purchase one of the customized good. So I approached ABC to supply that customized good. What ABC told is, he have no design with respect to that customized good and he told that he will approach XYZ for that design. And he have given me the quotation stating that the value of good is 1 lakh, the design charges are 10,000 and total is 1,10,000 is taxable value. In this way he have given me the quotation, and he have asked me to make the payment of 1 lakh to ABC, and with respect to design charges he have asked me to make the payment directly to XYZ. But as per section 15 of CGST Act, it clearly states that in this example what ABC have to do is he have to give tax invoice of 1,10,000. Even though the 10,000 design charges supply is made by another person, even then that 10,000 will also be added to the value of supply made by ABC, so the value of supply which is provided by ABC is 1,10,000 and GST will be charged on that. So he will be giving, ABC will be giving me invoice. So ABC have given me invoice of 1,10,000 of taxable value and tax charged on in it. In practical, what I will be doing is, as ABC have asked me to make the payment of 10,000 design charges to XYZ directly, I will be making 10,000 payment to XYZ directly and rest of the amount to ABC. But if you clearly see the Rule 37, if I'm not making the full payment to ABC, 1,10,000 plus tax charged on it, if I'm not able to make the full payment to ABC, then proportionately my input tax credit will be added to the output tax liability as in form GSTR 2. But is it right to do so? Here, even though I'm not making the payment to ABC, but I'm making the payment to XYZ directly as per instructed by ABC, the supplier, in this example. So this is the third exception given under Rule 37. Okay. So sub rule 2, the amount of input tax credit referred to in sub rule 1 shall be added to the output tax liability of registered person for the month in which the details are furnished. So say for example, I have purchased a good and I am not able to make the payment within a period of 180 days. 180 days period have been ended in the month of March. Then I have to add this input tax credit for the month of March output tax and I have to make the payment. Okay. Sub rule 3. The registered person shall be liable to pay interest at the rate notified under subsection 1 of section 50 for the period starting from the date of availing the credit on such supplies till the date when the amount added to the output tax liability as mentioned in sub rule 2 is paid. So as we already discussed that if we are not able to make the payment within a period of 180 days, then the input tax credit have to be added to the output tax liability, and we also have to pay the interest on it. So the interest rate is 18%, which is specified under section 50 subsection 1. Okay. So from which date till which date we have to calculate that interest is from the date of availing the input tax credit till the date we reverse the input tax credit. Okay, that is the time period for which we have to make the interest payment. With respect to interest calculations, we have to differentiate how interest is calculated under income tax and how interest is calculated under GST. Say for example, in income tax, if there is a delay in deduction of TDS, then it is said that interest will be charged at the rate of 1% per month or part thereof. Even though if there is a delay of 5 days in income tax in deduction of TDS, the interest charged is 1% because it is 1% per month or part thereof. Even though part of the month is delayed, then interest will be 1% only. However, when it comes to the interest rates of GST, it is 18% per annum. It means that if there is a delay for 5 days, then we have to calculate interest for 5 days only, not for month or quarter, which is the case in income tax. Okay, this care should be taken, the differentiation of interest calculation between income tax and GST. Okay. Subrule 4. The time limit specified in subsection 4 of section 16 shall not apply to a claim for re-availing of any credit in accordance with the provisions of the Act or the provisions of this chapter that had been reversed earlier. Generally, as per section 16 subsection 4, the time limit to claim input tax credit is 30th November of subsequent year. For example, if the input tax credit is related to the financial year 2021-22, then the time limit is 30th November of 2022. However, if the input tax credit have been claimed earlier, and reversed as per Rule 37, then after making the payment, then he is eligible to reclaim the reversed input tax credit. So whether the same time limit is applicable to this reclaiming also? The answer is no. In order to reclaim the reversed input tax credit, there is no time limit. There is at any point of time we can claim the input tax credit with respect to reversed input tax credit as per Rule 37. Okay, this is the older Rule 37. Now let's discuss the amended Rule 37. Let me open the amended rule. This is the amended Rule 37. Okay, what I have done is I have highlighted the amended part in green color, and the part which is omitted in the older rule I have striked it off. Okay, so that we will have a better understanding of the amended Rule 37. The first amendment is other than the supplies on which tax is payable on reverse charge basis. We already discussed that Rule 37 has 3 exceptions. The first exception is RCM, which is discussed in section 16 subsection 2 second proviso. That part now have been added in Rule 37. Okay, there is nothing much to discuss here with respect to this amendment. And the next amendment is pay an amount equal to the input tax credit availed in respect of such supply along with interest payable thereon under section 50 while furnishing the form GSTR 3B for the tax period. So if you observe this amendment, you will find 2 major amendments. The first thing is with respect to interest calculation, and the second thing is with respect to GSTR, the form of GSTR. Okay, so with respect to interest calculation, in the older rule it is dealt under sub rule 3. See, the sub rule 3 now have been omitted. What the older sub rule 3 says is the registered person shall be liable to pay interest at the rate notified under subsection 1 of section 50 for a period starting from the date of availing credit on such supplies till the date when the amount added to the output tax liability as mentioned in sub rule 2 is paid. So if you observe the amendment, the older Rule 37 takes the help of section 50 with respect to interest rate, but the amended Rule 37, it takes the help of section 50 not only with respect to interest rate but also time period for which the interest have to be calculated. In Rule 37, the older Rule 37, it had took the help of section 50 with respect to interest rate, but the time period have been specified in Rule 37 itself. Say, you can see from the date of availing the credit on such supplies till the date when the amount added to the output tax liability. This is the period till which we have to calculate the interest. However, the amended rule, it did not specify the time period for which interest have to be calculated, because it have taken the help of section 50 even for the time period for which interest have to be calculated. So the amended Rule 37 have taken the help of section 50 for 2 things. The first thing is interest rate, and the second thing is for the time period for which interest have to be calculated for the purpose of section 37. Okay, this is the one change. And the other thing is form GSTR 3B. Earlier, the reversal of input tax credit have to be added to the output tax liability and disclosed in form GSTR 2, which is not exist at all. Now it has been replaced with form GSTR 3B, which is familiar to us. Okay, we have to add to the output tax liability in form GSTR 3B and pay the reversed input tax credit along with the interest as specified in section 50. Okay, and the next amendment is where the said registered person subsequently makes the payment of the amount towards the value of such supply along with the tax payable thereon to the supplier thereof, he shall be entitled to re-avail the input tax credit referred to in sub rule 1. Whatever the reversed input tax credit under section 37 can be reclaimed, because we are reversing the input tax credit because we are not able to pay the consideration within a period of 180 days. Once we have reversed the input tax credit, after that we have paid the remaining amount, the amount which is unpaid we have paid now, then we can reclaim the input tax credit which is earlier reversed. Okay, and with respect to sub rule 3, it is completely omitted through an amendment, and sub rule 4 has no change. Okay, this is the amendment which have taken place through notification number 19/2022 dated 28 September 2022. This amendment is effective from 1st October 2022. Okay, and this is the second amendment through notification number 26/2022 dated 26th December 2022. This amendment have been proposed in the 48th GST Council meeting, which was held on 17th December, if I am not wrong. In that GST Council meeting, this change have been recommended, and this is have been effective through a notification number 26/2022 dated 26th December 2022. Okay. So this is the second amendment, and here what I have done is I have highlighted the amendment which have taken place through notification number 26 in brown color, so that you can differentiate the amendment which have taken place through notification number 19 as well as the amendment which have taken place through notification number. So the amendment which have taken place through notification number 26 is addition of 3 phrases. We will briefly discuss the amendment which have taken place through notification number 26. The first one is the addition of word or reverse. If you observe at the beginning of the video, I told that the input tax credit which have to be reversed as per Rule 37 can be reversed through reducing the available input tax credit. However, prior to this amendment, there is no chance for reducing the available input tax credit. The reversal should be done only by adding the reversed input tax credit to the output tax liability. However, through this amendment, what the government have done is reversal can be done in 2 ways. First way is reversed input tax credit can be added to the output tax liability and paid along with interest, or the reversed input tax credit can be reduced from the available input tax credit and the interest payment can be done separately. Okay, this is the one change, and the second change is proportionate to the amount not paid to the supplier. If you clearly observe in the amendment which have taken place through notification number 19, the word proportionate have been removed, have been omitted. Through this amendment, what have happened is, say for example, I have purchased a good worth rupees 1 lakh on which GST is 18,000. So the total payment I have to make is 1,18,000. I have made 1,18,000. I have made payment of 1,17,500 rupees. Only I did not make payment of 500 rupees. But as per this amendment, even though I am not able to make the payment of 500, I have to reverse the total input tax credit, not in proportionate, because the word proportionate have been removed. However, the word proportionate have been again brought through notification number 26, because if, to be frank, in the example which I have taken, I did not make payment of 500, for which I have to reverse 18,000 GST, which is completely illogical. That is the reason the word proportionate have been again brought into the Rule 37 through this notification. Okay, and this is the end of explanation of Rule 37. There are no other amendments through this notification. There are only three amendments. This is the end of explanation of Rule 37. So if you feel that this explanation helps you, please do like this video and also share to as many people as you can. This is Balaji signing off for today. Thank you guys.